Welcome back once again to another tutorial. As I want to take you through on how to get a big bustier cut for a princess that so many people have requested for this. Should I say so many? But most of you have requested for this. I hope this helps you. If in case this is not, or what you have is bigger than this, you can send me a, you can drop your measurement in the comment section for a bigger bust for me to show you on how to get yours. But for this, I think this will do for most of what I have been getting for on how to get a bigger bust cutting, like for a princess that. And I want to use this medium to appreciate you guys for your support, for your love, for your comments. You guys have really shown me a lot of support. I really appreciate you. I've received a lot of prayers from you guys, and that has been helpful to me. It has been pushing me and keeping the channel going. So I want to show you on how to get your your princess bustier cut on a bigger bust. So I have my paper right here. Let me bring my camera close to the pattern paper so you can see it very clear. So what I'm going to do now, I'm cutting with one piece of my paper, but when I want to place it on the fabric, I'm going to place it on fold. Take note of that. For beginners, I'm going to place it on fold, and I will soon drop a video on how to do that. Let me just go straight to the point. So for my shoulder to bust, so what I'm doing now, my shoulder to bust is 12. Shoulder to bust 12. I'm going to leave it at that 12 inches right there. Shoulder to under bust is 18. I'm going to leave it at 18.5. I'm going to leave it at 18.5. Shoulder to my half cut will be 2 inches from my under bust line. So my half cut is 20 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance, and we make it 21. So 2 inches from away from your bust, or 3 inches plus your sewing allowance. That's what I have. So I have my shoulder to bust, under bust, and half cut line. This is my half length. So my shoulder to bust, I'm going to repeat that here. Shoulder to bust right here, 12, under bust 18, include half inch for sewing allowance for the shoulder, then my half cut plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Take note of this measurement which I just showed you right now. So I'm going to draw my measurements like this. So let me just get my marking without too much of your time. Okay, so I have my measurements right there in place. So what I'm going to do now is to place my bust measurement on my measurement, and I told you on how to get your bust measurement. It's your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. That is how you get your bust measurement. So the bust which I am working with now is 48 divided by 6. So I have my 48 right here. I'm going to divide it by 6 plus 1.5. So my bust divided by 6, my bust divided by 6 right here plus 1.5. So I have 9.5 right here. My nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm going to divide it by 2. I divide my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I have 4.7. So I'm going to place my 4.7 here. Then I'm going to include my sewing allowance for the joining of my center piece and my side piece together. So I'm going to include my sewing allowance by 0.5 inch. So after getting everything by 0.5 inch, so what do I have in total for this point? I have 5.2 inches. So this 5.2 inches, I'm going to reduce 1 inch to get my under bust measurement. So I'm going to reduce 1 inch. So it will give me 5.2 minus 1 inch will give me 4.2. So I'm going to place my 4.2 at my waistline just like this. I'm going to repeat the same thing at this half cut line as well, just like this. Then after I have gotten my measurements, so just take note. From my bust, I reduce 1 inch to get my waistline and my half cut line. Then I come over to my shoulder. My shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So I have my 8 inches right there. Then I'll extend it by placing 2 inches at the front like this. So after placing my 2 inches at the front, I will come down by 5 inches to get my armhole where it is going to sit. So I come down by 5 inches, just like this, do the straight line like this. Then from here again, I get my shoulder measurement plus 2 inches extension. So after getting it like that, I'm going to draw my lines to make sure everything is falling in place before I continue with my calculation. So after getting my shoulder just like this, what I'm going to do next now is to come over to my under bust line, and this is where the magic is on how to get this. So this is a bust of 48 which I'm making with, and my dart which I'm going to make use of for this my under bust will be 3.5. You know, I normally use 2.5, 1.5. It depends on the bust, as I told you earlier in other videos on how to get this measurement. And this bust of 48 is a bigger bust. You ought to know that the person that owns this has a bigger bust, so it will not be the same as the one that is bust of 40 or 41. This bust is 48, so this shows you that the person that owns this has a bigger bust. I told you bust from 41, from 38 to 41, 42. You can use 2.5. From 38, okay, let me say 38, 39, 40, you can use 2 inches. 41, 42, 43, 43, 40, 43, you can use 2.5. 44, 45, 45, 44, 45, you can use 3 inches of 44, 45. 46, 47, 48, like what I have here now is 48. I will extend it by 3.5. 3.5 for the depth of my dart for the bust here, extending it by 3.5. If you still make use of 3 inches, it will still be okay for your bust. But because of the bust here of my clients, I'm making this to bring out my the shape of my bust, for it to go deep, so that the bust will be able to sit and relax well in it. If you go ahead to take 2 inches here, it will not fit in the bust because it will be too small for the bust to, it will enter, but it will not give it that perfect relaxation for your bust to sit. So after I place my 3.5 here, what I'm going to do now is to play the same 3.5 at my waistline here again. So after I have my, I hope you are seeing what I'm doing right here. So after getting my point just like this, what I'm going to do now is to connect my first under bust, which I reduced by 1 inch from my nipple to nipple measurements to get. So I connect this together. Here will be straight for the under bust, and you connect it from your nipple to nipple points down to this measurement just like this. I always advise you to use your French curve in case you have any. It will give you a perfect result than mine. I always recommend you to use that, although I am not using it yet. I'm supposed to be using it when showing you guys on how to go about this. So please pardon me for now for not having it. So I connect down just like this, and make sure your curves are not pointy. So make sure you contour it for it to blend. So contouring is a word that you use as a form of blending. Contour it, and the depth of coming down from here, I'm going to use 1 inch. You know, I normally use 0.7 inches, 0.7 inch, but for this case I'm using 1 inch for the depth, coming down by 1 inch and going up by 1 inch, because of to get my shape for this. You know, this is a bigger bust, so everything in total will be different from the calculation. So after getting it like that, I'm going to connect from my waist line down to my half cut line just like this in a straight shade. So what I have here and here, it's equal shade. And I, from my nipple to nipple measurement, I came down by 1 inch and I go up again by 1 inch. Then from this point, I'm going to connect it down to this 1 inch which I came down from to get my curve. I always tell you to use your French curve if you have any to work with. It will really help you a lot. I don't know. I would like to show you the finished work of this on my client. I don't really know if I'll be able to get any capture of this finished work when she puts it on. I don't think I will be able to get that. Then from this point, I will go up and connect it down to this point just like this. Make sure you are going with a slanted line. I want to take my, I believe I'm blocking you guys a little, but please pardon me. I don't want to, I want to be at the right position to get my curve perfectly. So you can see what I just did here. From that 1 inch line, gives me the upper hand to get my curve just like this. So after getting my curve like this, you can see that my bust is already out, as you can see. And there is something very important I would like to share with you when cutting your fabric. You know, before you start drafting your measurements, you need to cut your fabric on full. And when cutting your fabric on full, because of this extension of this point which I kept here, this 3.5 inch for my dart, what I'm going to do for my extension, you know what I normally take is my bust divided by 4 plus 4 inches for sewing allowance for the front. But in this case, I'm going to use my bust divided by 4 plus 7 inches extension for the front. Then for the back, I'm going to include my zipper allowance. So what I'm going to do now is to get my bust divided by 4 will give me 12.5. My bust divided by 4, my bust 38 divided by 4 will give me 12 inches rather. 12 inches plus, I'm going to plus 7 inches extension, 7 inches extra, because of the client I'm working with has a bigger bust. I'm going to put 7 inches extra allowance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, what I have here now is 19 inches. That is what I have here for this my client right here. I have 19 inches. So I'm just going to place my 19 inches from here down to this, up just like this. I'm going to place my 19 inches. So then I rule my lines together. Rule my lines together. So after getting my bust and everything together like this, what I'm going to do now is to get my calculation to draft out my shape before placing on my back. So what I'm simply going to do now is to get my bust measurement. My bust is 48 divided by 2, again give me 12 inches. So I have my 12 inches right here. I have my 12 inches right here, and I'm still going to join 0.5 from each part. When joining my pieces that together, I'm going to join 0.5 from both sides. So I'm going to include my 1 inch right here. And if you are making a top and your client asks you to put a lot of allowance in case of she gets fat, you can be able to adjust it. You can add 3 inches for sewing allowance, but in this case, I want to go with the same 2 inches. I want to go with the same 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So I am going with the same 2 inches. After getting your 1 inch here, I place my 1 inch here plus my 2 inches. In total of what I have, in total of my extension is 3 inches from my bust measurement. Then I come over to my waist measurement. So what do I have for my waist? My waist measurement is 38. So my 38 divided by 4 will give me 9.2. So I have my 9.2 right here. 38 divided by 4 will be 9.25. So I have my 9.25 right here. Then I'm going to include my 3.5 inches which I have for my darts to get my bust shape. I'm going to increase it at this point here. So after putting my dart, because these ones are not included in my measurements anymore, I'm going to cut this out. So for me not to get loss of fabric, and you know this will not work if you want to go with this 9.25 like it 12. So you have to extend this waist that we have here. I have to extend this waist by placing it here 3.5. So after placing my waist here by 3.5, I'm also going to include my half inch at this part and 0.5 inch at this part, which I have at both parts, joining of my waist down to the up, the same way I did for my bust here. So I'm going to place back that 1 inch at this point. So after placing back my 1 inch at this point, I'm going to go by 2 inches for my extension. 2 inches for my extension. This person has a bigger bust, so let me just go ahead to extend it by 2.5 inches. Let me just go ahead to extend it by 2.5 inches for my bust, so that I connect it straight just like that. So take note, I extended my sewing allowance by 2.5 inch. You can go ahead to extend it to 3 inches if you please. You can also make use of 2 inches, but you know, people that are bust here, they do loose shape and out shape, so you will like to make it bigger, so you will always adjust it whenever they want to. Then from this part you can roll it straight just like that. So after getting it like that, you can see what I have right here for my bust. So by the extension of this 3.5 inch, because here is where your calculation comes in, by the extension of this 3.5 inch, you can see the shape of the bust. This shows you that this person has a bigger bust. I just want to show you something. Just I am done with this measurement, but I just want to show you why you should extend it like this and not 2 inches. I just want to brief you on something. This is not included in our measurement, but I just want you to understand on how to go about this. If you have been using 2 inches or 2.5 inch, let me say this is my 2.5 inch, and you go ahead to get your curve like this, you will see that there is no big room for your bust to sit. For the space that is left, there is no big room for your bust to sit. So that is why you need to extend it by 3.5 inch. This 3.5 inch does not apply to every measurement. It is only what I am making for right now. If I have a bigger bust than this, I will still extend it up to even 4 inches. It depends if you can find the person under bust. That is very important, because there are some people that are busty, you cannot find their under bust, and for those clients, there is no way for you to create a bust for them because you cannot find the under bust. The bust is so big that it goes to 20 inches for under bust. There are some people that have 20 inches for under bust, and that amount of calculation, like 20 inches, it is very difficult for you to create something like that. But if you will be able to place your tape and get it at the right point for your 20 inches, and you are able to calculate your nipple to nipple measurement, it will really help you to create your curve like this. And if you have any case like that has 20 inches for under bust, you can go ahead to make that extension by 4 inches. That will really help to create that shape. Because what we are doing here now is to create the shape for the bust to sit. That is really very important for that we are doing right here. So after getting it like that, so what I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So let me go ahead to cut it out before placing it on the back to show you on what to do. The back is simple. I've been showing you the back, so I don't think I will even show you in this video. I don't think I will show you. I don't want to waste much of your time. I have really explained a lot, and I don't want to explain further in that. So I just want to cut this out, then show you what it looks like after getting my draft out. I have trimmed everything out, as you can see, just like this. So let me just show you on how to cut the back for those that may not know on how to do that. But I don't want to show it. So this under bust, I always notch this because this helps a lot when padding. So make sure you always notch this part. Make sure you always notch this part. I am repeating it because when you want to pad, you are starting your padding from this point upward. And how to get your pad, I have a video on that, on how to get your princess that part. So go ahead and watch that video. It will really help you a lot on how to get your pad. So the back. I always oh god, I don't want to show you the back. I don't want to waste your time. Let me just show the back. I don't really want to show you guys on how to do this back. This back is very simple. I've always explained it. Please, I will proceed to the next video. I really appreciate you guys for coming. In case you don't understand how to do that back is very simple. I have several videos which I have showed you on how to do that back, so I don't want to show you again. So thank you for staying tuned to this length. If you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful to you. And comment in the section. Drop any measurement which you would love or like me to to how will I say it? Give me any measurement which you would like me to work on, so I'll be able to show you guys on how to do it. So I really appreciate you guys for coming. You guys are the reason why I am still here up till this length. So thank you. See you in the next video.